we always really lean into relatable humor because I guess what I would say our goal is when we create these comedic ads for our clients is we want these videos to be something that the viewer wants to share with their friends, their family, whoever they feel might also relate, because that's free marketing for our clients and also enjoyment for the viewers.
Hi, and welcome back or welcome to the Bombshell Business Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Hurdle, and I say it every single week, but I know how busy I am. We're all busy. Come on, that's like an overused word. We all are abundantly blessed with all the things going on in our lives. And I know that if I'm listening to a podcast or I'm watching a YouTube video, I am committing my time and attention to that for a purpose. So I just really want to honor that. And thank you for being here today. I think that you are going to very much appreciate this episode. I have been online stalking my guests because I like to laugh and comedy is a big thing for me. And that's how I spend my downtime. I do Netflix and chill because I watch comedy. So I cannot wait to introduce you to Shelby Dash and Kristina Clifford, both professionally trained comedic actresses. They both started making comedy videos just for fun in 2015. So what started out as a passion project turned into a career when various brands and businesses started approaching them for custom video content. From there, Take Two content was born. And although content creation is no longer just a hobby, Shelby and Kristina still bring that same sense of fun to every project they tackle, leaving their clients with something truly unique. They handle every aspect of can I say that out loud? I promise I'm a professional speaker. They handle every aspect of production from ideation to editing, a one-stop shop for all your video content needs. Shelby and Kristina, welcome to the Bombshell Business Podcast.
Thank you so much, Amber. We're happy to be here.
So I want to dive in first to just how you took this from fun. This is this fun thing that you two did. And then at what point did you decide, oh, we can monetize this? This can actually be a business.
Well, it's a little thing I'd like to call the pandemic. That really kind of shoved us right into it. But I think before we fully committed, I think there were definitely times during all those years when we were doing the comedy videos where we were like, gosh, we're putting so much time and effort. Like eventually we got to get to a point where we're making money doing this. And I don't think it ever occurred to us until the pandemic when we both lost our day jobs. And to be fair, I actually found an ad agency on Craigslist, and it was like one of those diamonds in the rough. And we started working with this particular person who was in Sweden, and we started making these ads from start to finish. And basically we're like, why aren't we doing this as like a thing, like, and getting more clients and really broadening our skill set? So that's kind of how it blossomed.
Awesome. Anything you want to add to that, Shelby?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much spot on. I think one big takeaway we've had from the whole experience is that we wish we had done it sooner. We wish we hadn't waited for the pandemic to kick our butts. But
say that about my hysterectomy. Done it sooner.
Amen, sister.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when we first met each other, we kind of both really saw the talent in the other and thought each other were super funny. And even making the comedy videos themselves, it kind of happened pretty organically. Like we just one day had like an idea for a video and we made it. And then we got like 10,000 views and we're like, maybe we have something here. So it's just kind of cool how organically it happened. And like, we can see the path now, but we definitely didn't know where it was headed in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I think because I've watched like so many of your videos, like the one, the kitty litter one is hysterical, first of all. But is it, I never say it right and I own so many other products. Is it Lange?
Oh, yeah. Lange. Yes.
We couldn't say that right I still don't know if I'm saying it right.
I've been a customer for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I'm like, the L one that you can buy online. That was so relatable. Like, that's me at Christmas. I'm like, I'm not interested.
With the gift.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we're not going to give it away because I'm going to make y'all, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, we'll put, of course, their website in the show notes, and then you'll have to check it out. But it's relatable humor. So can you unpack that a little bit of why you use that strategy to sell?
Yeah, absolutely. We always really lean into relatable humor because I guess what I would say our goal is when we create these comedic ads for our clients is we want these videos to be something that the viewer wants to share with their friends, their family, whoever they feel might also relate, because that's free marketing for our clients and also enjoyment for the viewer. So we always want to hit that relatable angle.
Yeah.
And even before we were doing the ads, that was always the goal when we were making these comedy videos, to think of just like moving through a day in the life. I would come up with ideas like nonstop, because you're like, okay, this could be a video. This could be a video. Because I think that's what people really respond to. And it comes down to vulnerability too. Because we see something in ourselves and it makes us laugh because it's true. And that's, we're how stand-ups do their thing too. It's just one of those things that is universal.
Yeah. And sometimes that with that vulnerability factor, the comedian or the video or whatever is illuminating that part of ourselves that maybe we're a little embarrassed about. We don't really want to share. And then we recognize it in someone else. It tells us like, oh, it's okay to laugh. It's okay to laugh at this.
Especially in corporate or association environments. Like, I just find from stage, I can say the thing that no one else really has permission to say, or they're afraid to say it, or they're afraid to 100%. Recognize it. And it's like, but this is what it is. And then with women, especially, you can especially double down to talk about just the crazy things women have to deal with in business, or even just in our personal lives, just to like, let's just call it for what it is and I'll laugh about it together and it'll be cleansing.
Yes. Everything that a woman endures.
Right.
Let's go down the laundry list, shall we?
That's right. So the other thing I want to touch on there, just for listeners who kind of weave all the episodes together, when you're doing branding, I would say, I'm going to say probably the most important thing is to have an emotional connection. We don't buy because of some, green monster inside of us. We buy because we have an emotional response. And so if you can hit that emotional trigger, you're more likely to get the prospect or the consumer to, start doing business with you. So any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% on the mark. We always say that like story is king, to have, because people also relate to story. And if they can emotionally connect, then you won in terms of getting somebody to invest in your product or service. So yeah, that's something we live by as well. And you kind of said it perfectly, honestly.
Well, it's like Mayhem, right? The Mayhem.
Yeah.
It's Allstate, maybe. I can't remember, but
yeah, I think it is Allstate. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably not the best because I can't remember the brand, but you could literally Google Mayhem and, there's that association there. So let's shift gears just a smidge and talk about social media in general. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I'm just like,
same.
I know that it's needed. And I don't like, if people talk to me, I talk back. Like, I'm great at responding to people on social media, but it just gets old putting my face out there, like, cause I am my brand. So I'm like, oh, and here I am again. And here's another selfie of me talking about some other concept. And it's just like, so you have 5 keys to creating a successful social media ad campaign, different than just regular content. So tell us about that. That sounds a lot more intentional.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say probably the first one, Kristina kind of touched on this a little bit already, but going for the unexpected and that story is king. So you want to be clear right off the bat what you're selling. You don't want to hide it, but you also want to make sure that your video has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You want to make sure it's entertaining. You want to make sure we connect with it. So there's a few different tactics we use to get something that's unexpected. Mayhem is a great example. That's sort of like a heightened level of personification. And we use that a lot. We've created like a cat goddess.
The man in the bed at the end, dead. Dead. Like, didn't expect it to go there, but here we are all together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to create a whole world.
And that's kind of what she just said too, is, comedy lives in that unexpected space, and it's kind of taps into the rule of threes as well for comedy. It's that classic same, different. You create a pattern and then you break it. And when you break it, you get that element of surprise and we laugh. It goes back to like Charlie Chaplin trying to unlock a door. He tries again. He tries a third time. He hits himself in the face. So we use those different comedy laws, if you will, to attain that surprise element, especially in the first 5 seconds of the video.
Oh, okay.
Because we want to get their attention right away. People call them hooks. We usually have several different hooks for the core of the video, because even though, there are certain rules of comedy, as we all know, social media and video marketing, it's not a perfect science. Like, you do have to test what works and what doesn't work.
And so how do you do, we do A/B testing and things like that, which is how my face ended up on the cover of my book. That was not my plan. And then technically, just for anybody writing a book, technically, if you put your face on a book, it doesn't sell as well, but that's what my audience said that they wanted. So that's what I gave them.
Your face is beautiful, girl.
Yes. I want your face on all my books.
And then side note too, when your face is on your book, then your face shows up to the book signings. And so that's always fun. And so they airbrushed it at first. And I was like, no, my Botox is not that good. Like, we need to just make it real, because I literally have to sign this anyways. Okay. So rule of threes, and then you test it, but how do you test it before it goes to market?
Yeah. So, what we usually do, like, just to break down our process a little bit, I guess, is we have an initial call with the client. That would be number 2 in our 5 keys, which is really listen to your client or listen to your target customer if you are the creator yourself. So we really want to take in everything that, our client is looking for, or that their target customer is looking for. And then we create a whole big brainstorm session where we do not edit ourselves. We throw anything and everything at the wall. We say some really dumb things.
Say some weird
but
things.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. We laugh, and then we think we're stupid, and then we realize we're geniuses all over again.
So, can you guys just hire me? Can I come work with y'all? Like, this is fun.
Oh, we laugh, girl.
I'll
we
just
love
be
to
a
laugh.
I'll take the notes. I'll be
So then after we've done our brainstorm, we narrow down our ideas, and then we do a second pitch to our client where, since we come from an acting background, we act everything out. We put on a full show. And then they kind of tell us, like, look, we love this, we love this, we love this. And basically what we're left with is, Kristina kind of mentioned this, but just to make it super clear, is a core section of the video and then several different hooks, which would be the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video. So we shoot all of their favorite hooks. We shoot the core, and then we usually shoot 2 CTA options. So
and CTA, for those of you who are fresh to this world, call to action, which should always be a part of your marketing and your advertising.
Yes. Thank you. So to answer your question, on our end, I guess our pitch would kind of be that testing for us. And then on the client's end, they usually will run all those different hooks with the core and then with different CTAs and see what performs the best. But that way we're always leaving people that work with us with something that's going to hit, because we don't always know, you know, what the winner, sometimes I'm like, oh, in the brainstorm, we're like, oh, this is going to be the winner. And then it's something completely different. You would be shocked. So
it's the same thing with social media too. If you are doing it on your own and you have your own personal brand and you're putting stuff up on Instagram, it's kind of like paying attention to what is getting the most views, what's getting the most likes, and really kind of dissecting why either it is or isn't getting that attention. So, yeah.
But that vulnerability piece is so important. I'm not even going to get into the story, but let's just say I went on a little walk that I always do, and I forgot to put my purse in the trunk. So I'm just like trucking down the road in my Adidas with a Gucci purse strapped to the side, and not like a little one, not like a crossbody, like a giant one, until I realized you're walking down the road enthusiastically to your Kanye West with a Gucci purse on you, you idiot, go back to your car, put it like you meant to. And then something else happened after that, or I forgot what. Anyways, just because so many of my clients beat up on themselves and they're amazing, I posted this on LinkedIn with a selfie of me with no makeup on and like an Adidas beanie, 3,000 views within a few hours. Nothing professional, just like, hey, look what an idiot I am. And I'm still successful. Cut yourself some slack. And like, so that authenticity, that like the relatable stuff, I think that's what is just so great about everything that you do.
Yeah. We call it the wall of fear. Like you have all these great ideas and you're like, gosh, this is gonna be so good. But then when you go to post or you're doing a story, you're like, gosh, ooh, you're like, are they going to hate me? Are they going to think this is weird? Yeah. Is this too personal? Like all these thoughts crawl in your head. But then once you just like let go and do it and push past that, like I'm always surprised with the feedback that I get.
Yeah, for sure. And you said something too, I think, Shelby, that Dr. Naima talked about in episode 121. She's a sales strategist, is using the language of your target audience. And so she was talking about that and like interviewing your clients and getting their words and saving their words, or if they email you or DM you or whatever, to like capture those words and use that in your sales copy. So is that something like, if a client had that, would you want that information of like, here's what my people say to me? Would that?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Definitely. Yeah, we, you know, whenever we write a script or anything like that, if we haven't, obviously we're taking notes during our initial meeting, but a lot of times, you know, if the client has specific copy that has worked for them in the past, or, you know, that they know is really reliable, it's our job to sort of incorporate that in and still keep it fun and funny and unexpected, but make sure that, you know, at the end of the day, we need to get people to purchase. So we want to make sure we're hitting what is tried and true for them.
Yeah. Which is hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Yes. But having that balance.
Somehow nailed it every single video that I've looked at. So
oh, you're so sweet. You're so, a lot of trial and error, over the years.
So Amy kind of pre-screens everybody for the podcast, and then she brings to the table the ones that she thinks fits our audience. We're super protective of our audience. And then we talk through them, and we had way too much fun with y'all. But anyways.
That makes us feel so good. You have no idea.
I love that. We love to hear that. Obviously, it kind of brings us back to, you know, even though this is our job now, we always want to feel like we're still just making comedy videos for fun, for people that enjoy them.
Make people laugh. Yeah.
And that's such a gift now. Things have been so serious. I mean, everything's so serious.
We need comedy more than ever.
I know. Yeah.
I really do.
But that's kind of part of we have a team of people that we call on to do these productions, and that's kind of another key to having a successful video. And we want to incorporate this with anybody we hire, is that sense of fun and positivity And we really want that to be part of our brand. So we have like the best people on our team. They're not only experts in their own field, but they're also just like, they light up when they walk in. They're positive. They're fun. They can laugh at the struggles, but still like move forward. Like we always try to hire the best people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And on that point, something worth mentioning is like whether you're going to be making a video for yourself or whether it's us, you know, making a video for somebody else, if we're trying to make something funny, it's really hard to do that and be vulnerable on camera if somebody's in the corner with like a sour face or they're like, oh, this is so dumb, this is stupid, because we need people to feel free, to feel silly, to feel uninhibited. So yeah, it's super important to have people around that are just like gung-ho on the same page. And if you're doing your own content,
yeah,
you know,
that's
like
so during the pandemic. So I'm I like read energy, and not to be woo-woo, but to be woo-woo, I read energy. So you could think whatever you want to think about me, audience members.
I love that.
And so it's really important, that exchange for me, like in the audience, to like understand what they're absorbing, what they're deflecting. If they like it, if they're checking out, like it's really important to me. So when we all went virtual exclusively through the height of COVID, I was like, oh, can you please at least turn your cameras on? And so I didn't really participate in that. I'm a certified virtual speaker, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, that's just not really what I'm wanting to do. So I created my own. I brought the stage to me. I just did my own thing as per usual.
Awesome.
But I will say that Tractor Supply, their entire corporate office was working from home, but they had me come in, and instead of doing it from my studio, I went to their studio, and we were all masked and everybody took their temperatures and all that kind of stuff. Tractor Supply is like one of the most responsible companies on the planet. But I had like the IT person, I had the person that I typically interact with there, and somebody else who I typically interact with there. So I think there was just 3 people in there, but just that alone, just that energy alone, where they laughed, where they were like, where they leaned in, where they were like, you know, you could see, and everybody who's not watching on YouTube, you're like, what is Amber doing? She's making a bunch of noises. But I'm leaning in and I'm leaning out. And just that alone, it just kind of, it's like wind in your sail.
Fuels you.
Yeah.
Fuels you. Yeah.
So important.
It really is. It really is. And we've had some experiences when we're doing a pitch to a client and, you know, half of their cameras are off. And it's just like, it's just so off-putting because it's like, okay, they can see me, we can't see them. There's just like a little bit of
comedy, especially
there.
Like I'm, you know, I told you that I have taken classes, but I attend, I go, I watch a lot. And part of the process is feeling the audience. Like that's I mean, Chris Rock, that's part of his process is he does small shows, small venues. He gets the audience's reaction and then he creates a special.
Yeah.
And how do you do that if you don't have that feedback? So,
it's so hard. I mean, when we're doing these like virtual pitches and people have their cameras on, we're not just like talking about like, you know, the product.
The TPC report.
Yeah, we're being a magician. We're acting like a hot dude. We're like, you know what I mean? Like, we're like, I'm swimming in a pool. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I can't, or sometimes people will just be on their computer looking away. But then it's so funny because I think our background in auditioning and rejection and having casting directors just be like, you know, okay, next. We just push through and majority of the time, the person that's not paying attention is like, absolutely loved that. You know what I mean? It's just their face doesn't show it. And we're like, thank God we didn't, you know, bail on this or do, you know, feel awkward and scale it back.
Right.
We just always try to commit. Fully,
Minnie Pearl said, I mean, acting like idiots is the best part of any day. Minnie Pearl said, don't flub the show. She told a story where it was before she really became famous and she was playing a gig in an auditorium and there weren't a lot of people in it. So she's just like, well, she kind of phoned it in. And there was like a record producer. I can't remember the exact person, but it was somebody who could have absolutely changed her career. And it got back to her that he was like, I don't know who this Minnie Pearl is. Like, she's nothing special. I don't know why you asked me to go see her. But it was like that one person really mattered. And so she says, don't flub the show. Like that's something that she's always said since then. And I take that very seriously too. So I'm glad to see that y'all don't flub.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Wise words.
I'm always like, there's one person. I don't care. Sometimes I'll get somewhere and the meeting planners will be like, oh, we thought it was going to be 500, but it's only 400. And I'm like, I'm here for one person. That one person who needs to be here is in this audience. That's all I care about. So no ego. So tell me about step number 3. So we've got expect the unexpected with the rule of 3s, and then listen to the client or the target customer. And we talked a little bit about Dr. Nehemiah's episode. So we'll link to that in the show notes. What is the third key?
Yeah. So the third key was actually like build a great team, but
okay. Well, we got that.
But I think we talked about this as well a little bit already. The fourth thing is have the options, have the multiple hooks, really try to, go above and beyond in your brainstorm and have several options. Not only will it make you look like geniuses, but it will give people options so they can't just say no to if you have one or two openings or just ideas in general. And then the last thing is, and this is probably one of the hardest things, at least for me, that I've learned over the years. I don't know what that says about me, but learn from your results. Like really take people's feedback to heart. I think a lot of times, even with acting and getting feedback during my acting career, there's just like kind of a wall of defense that goes up when you get notes. And I think you have to be aware that that's there, but you just have to listen and take it and kind of look. And if you don't understand it, look at the note behind the note.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
You know what I mean? So if they say something, you're like, well, I feel like I did that, or I feel like we did that with this video, then you have to dig a little deeper and say, okay, what are they really saying with this note?
That's right.
And so, yeah, it's just, and it's also within that is trusting the process, because you are going to fail sometimes. You are going to make the wrong decisions or not please every single client. But when you get that feedback, you can really learn from your mistakes and just get better and better.
And it doesn't even have to be a mistake. It could just be like, oh, well, we told you this, but there's always the power of contrast, right? Like, well, I didn't know I actually wanted this until I saw this. And now that I saw this, I know it's not what I want. So actually, I think what I want is this. So don't take 100%. It personally. That's one of the 4 agreements.
Perspective.
Totally. And it's like, you can't, even if it seems that you failed, and you get these notes, or this isn't what we were looking for, whatever. It's really not failing if you can take something from it. Like if you can learn from it, okay, next time, I need to be more clear when I'm talking with my clients. Next time I need to send them, a full script so that they see everything. I need to check and make sure that they've read the script. So if you're learning, you're not failing.
It's just data.
It's part of the process. Yeah.
It's all data.
Yeah.
So good. I was with a employer branding customer today, and just at the very end, I was like, okay, so the training that we did, it's not like my typical audience, but I felt like I connected well with them and they played around and that sort of thing. But I also knew that I didn't like really get them out of their chairs enough for that particular group. And so I was asking, they're like, oh no, I think you did great. And so-and-so was happy and the guys seemed happy and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, actually what I'm asking for is like, what did I do wrong? Actually, I'm looking for critiques. Thank you for that good feedback. But I really want, because like the growth is from here to where you could be. And if you're never looking for like what could be better, then how do you ever grow? How do you ever get better? So
exactly. And on the other side of the coin, there are the people who maybe don't want to give those criticisms.
Mm-hmm. So give people permission.
I like that. Yeah. Give permission to, yes.
Yeah. So I know a lot of our bombshells are very big personalities, but I think there's also so much history, so much of people telling you, oh, you're so much, or wow, well, take you in small doses. And so you're used to like the world saying like, you're taking up way too much space. And so it hurts a little bit more when you get feedback that's not edifying or encouraging. But I still think that it's really, really important for you, Bombshell, to get this type of feedback. And then you decide for yourself, how am I going to turn this loss into a lesson? How am I going to use this data to get even better? Because I don't need that person to like me. I just need to get better at what I do and how I show up in the world. So
100%.
Absolutely. And I think,
it's so interesting. When you say this, it really we are screenwriters too. Not only do we do the branded stuff, but we also continuously like write TV and film.
And there's just so many of you in that world, and there's just completely fair for women in television and film.
I know.
It's so fair. But something about like a written script, you can really see this come to life because you get feedback. It feels very personal. But then when you rework the written word, it's there on the page. Like the improvement is actually visible. And that's pretty life-changing when you can really tangibly see it on a piece of paper.
So cool. Do you ever keep like the old one just to like reflect on it?
Oh yeah. We have all the hundreds of drafts.
Yeah. I'm just a hoarder of words.
Just in case we want that one line that we thought was funny.
Yeah. I do that too. Like I'll write something and I'll take it out, but I'll like save it in a Google Drive. I said I was turning that timer volume off. I'd save it a Google Drive because maybe I might want to use that another time. Right. There's the
100%. Sometimes you do.
Yeah. A lot of times I do. And people are like, how do you write so much? I'm like, cause I just write all the time and I save it and then I pull from it. So, so what would y'all suggest for people who maybe are not all that creative? Maybe they don't have the extra or I won't say even extra marketing. It should be a part of your budget, but maybe they just don't have it earmarked quite yet. They're not super creative. How can they participate in engaging online ads? Like, is there a resource that you could point them to or like tactics they can deploy?
Yeah, I mean, we always say, and we do this as well, is find out what your taste is, what you like, what you see that draws your attention, and kind of teach yourself in terms of figuring out, well, how was that done? Why did I think that was funny? Why did I think that was effective? That's one way. I mean, we have our inspirations are like the Harmon brothers. They did like the poopery ads.
Yes.
Squatty potty.
Totally what I was thinking of when I saw your ads.
So outside of the box, so like different and clever. Goodby and Silverstein is another one. So I think we actually took a Goodby and Silverstein masterclass, which was really, really insightful. But yeah, I think just allowing yourself to learn, like YouTube videos are so accessible in terms of learning how to do things. Like we have even started a YouTube where we're going to start teaching little tips and tricks. So
good. Is there a way that Bombshells can opt into that, like to get on your notification list?
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you just search for Take Two Content, it'll pop right up. Right now, we just have all of our branded stuff up there, but we will be adding those more educational videos pretty soon. And yeah, if you're looking to, if you don't have it in your budget, but you want to create video marketing, we tell people just start, just start. You can film on your iPhone. And I think one thing that helped me when I was very first starting is that if you really feel uncomfortable or you hate it, you don't have to post it, but just doing it is going to get you one step closer and one step closer and one step closer. So
I love that. Just start. Just start. Yeah. I remember the very first time that I did a podcast episode. It was well before I actually published anything. And it was an international executive for a Fortune 50 company. Cut your teeth on that. And it didn't record. None of it recorded. And I was just So I just packed up my podcasting equipment and I put it on a shelf and I was like, that's not for me right now. I'm just going to focus on growing my business. I don't need to be messing with all this technical stuff that clearly I don't know how to do. And I'm not wasting people's time. Worst thing ever, because that delayed the launch of my podcast probably 18 months, maybe even 2 years. I could have been so much further along if I would have just been like, well, that one didn't work out, but let's talk to her assistant and see if maybe we could do this again. She probably would have graciously done it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you'll never forget to press the record button again, or
I don't even know
do
what
any
happened.
of those other technical.
I thought I did all the things right, but it just didn't work. So I don't know.
What a nightmare. That's terrible.
It would have been a great thing if I would have like, well, here's what I did wrong, but I couldn't figure out what I did wrong. So see, bombshells, I make big blunders too. Well, not that I don't share that all the time. My favorite thing to do is telling myself. So, so I always ask, and I want each of you to provide this, if you will. What is the one piece of parting advice that you would give based on what you do, or your topic, or even just being a female entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur? What would you say to a bombshell, which is a woman in business who really wants to be bold, brave, and unwaveringly confident in who she is and what she brings to the table?
Yeah. I think we're both going to have the same answer on this one, because we talk about this all the time, but it goes for individuals, it goes for businesses. With our content and our clients and everything that we do, we always want to take risks. We want to push our clients to take risks in terms of the type of content they let us create. So if we make a video that's a little bit pushing the boundaries, that's going to catch people's attention so much more than that run-of-the-mill thing they've seen every time. It's just a little bit funny, but it's playing it safe. We want to push the boundaries. We want to take those risks, and it's going to be, high risk, higher reward for our client. Same thing if you're an individual, and you're afraid to put yourself out there, but everyone tells you, you're so good on camera. You feel like that's such a high risk, but the reward is going to be tenfold.
I love it.
I bet I stole that right out of your back pocket.
Dang it.
To piggyback on that, though, is something that I've struggled with myself personally over the years. And that's, it goes alongside what you're saying, Shelby, and, taking those risks are scary, but learning how to trust yourself. And it sounds so great, and it's a little harder to do. But it really goes back to that for me, and kind of like, I've done X, Y, and Z. I like all these things under my bed. Like, I am a pro, and like keep reminding myself that I have accomplished all these things, and to know that, like, trust myself. I'm going to be okay if I go on this new venture or start a business or post a story that I think might be weird. So trusting
Weird's fun.
yourself.
Weird's great.
Exactly.
Weird's the best.
Yeah.
People want to see weird, just like you were saying with your no makeup. I had my bag on me. People want to see. Oh, I'm not the only one that does that. You know.
I'm absent-minded too. We all have a gajillion things going on. I love that.
Right.
Take risks, which not everybody's wired to naturally want to take risks. So some people need a little prodding to do that. And then trust yourself, trust that inner knowing, and trust the grit that you've developed. That's one of the steps in the Bombshell Business coaching process, is to think back on what you did accomplish before to fuel you forward as you're conquering the world. So ladies,
so true.
I have girl crushes on both of you. So.
You have a girl crush on you.
Next time in LA, we're hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah, the next time I'm going to be, I think I've been twice this year, but I'm sure another opportunity will pop up.
Oh my gosh, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can find you on the interwebs. Let's see here. Amy has me all set up for success. So we have your YouTube, your Instagram, your TikTok. Oh, I'm sure I might have to get on TikTok more just to see that. LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll put all of that in the show notes. So I'm sure even just watching these hysterical women will give you inspiration just for the day-to-day too. And then of course, if you would like to work with them, then their website and everything will be available too. So thank you ladies for being on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Bombshell, for tuning in. And of course, we always love for you to leave an honest rating and review. It's really important to just trick the algorithms and help us get in front of more women. So more women who want to become bold, brave, and unwaveringly confident. Female women, you have to be careful with that. I heard that female is not the word to use anymore. So if it resonates with you, female, if it resonates with you, woman, either way, rating and review, or just give this a like if you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe, share, and we will see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Bombshell Business Podcast. Visit amberhurdle.com for more resources like show notes, and check out thebombshellbusinesswoman.com to grab my book and download the free bonuses.